Hey, good morning. My name's Chris Gunn, and once again, this is my channel, Chris Gunn's Bourbon Barrel Creations. So this Sunday morning, I'm sitting up here in my bourbon room. I'm gonna have me a little bit of coffee, relax a little bit, probably play the guitar for a while, and then get out in the garage. I've got to work on some barrel stuff today, but what I want to talk about this morning is the quarterly Alabama ABC drop for the month of March. Now, the cool thing about Alabama, I've talked about this quite a bit in other videos, is they do drops every month of allocated bourbons. They do, the normal months are just first come, first serve. And, normally me and my group of friends will get together up in Auburn. We'll link up about the night before. We've got a gentleman's list where you put your name on the list. And then we'll have pours until we get tired. And then generally we'll just, go crawl in our vehicles and go to sleep till the next morning, have a cup of coffee, wait, and then, get off whatever bottles we're going to get and go home. And then at the end of the year, they do the big one. It's the annual drop. That's the one where they'll have the Pappies, the B-Tax, the whole Weller lineup, you name it. Now, a lot of people, they do not like the Alabama system. They think it stifles your ability to get stuff. I love it. But the reason I love it so much is I live right on here. I live right on the border of Georgia, so I get the best of both worlds. I can use the Alabama system to my advantage, and then I can come into Columbus, Georgia, other parts of Georgia, and I can shop there. So anyway, the annual one, they do a lottery system. You put your name in with the hopes you get pulled, and they have 150 people at each store that participates in the annual. And then they have a quarterly drop, do 3 months a year, and that's 50 people. So the good news was I got pulled this month, which blew me away. I mean, the running joke is hardly none of us ever get picked except for my good friend Paul. But this month I did get pulled, and I got pulled to be number 3 in line in Dothan, Alabama. Now Dothan is about 2 hours from where I live, so it was a little bit of a haul to get down there. So I planned accordingly. I talked to my wife. She says, "What are you doing this weekend?" And I told her. She goes, "Well, do you mind if I ride with you? Just spend a little time with you." And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." The good news of that was she could get in the walk-in line. Well, then we got to thinking about it, and my daughter wanted to go too. So, full disclosure, what I'm about to say, I used my wife and my daughter to my advantage during the quarterly drop this month to get some bottles. And oh boy, did I luck out this month. So here's what I ended up getting. Now, I knew they had this because once again, they tell you ahead of time what's going to be at each store and the quantities. And normally the quantities are spot on. Sometimes they'll fluctuate a little bit, but not much. But they had this bottle, and I wanted this bottle. And what do I have? I have King of Kentucky, small batch, and this is batch 1. Now, I had a little bit of a vapor lock when I got in the store because all I expected was the first batch. And I knew there were 3 batches. They ended up having all 3 batches, and they asked me when I walked in the store, which batch do you want? I had been watching videos online, like Whiskey Weather. He had talked about the 3 batches, which one he thought was the best. Kind of looking back on it, I think possibly number 2's flavor profile would have been more in my wheelhouse, but since I only could get one, I figured I'd get the first one. But anyway, yeah, King of Kentucky small batch. Now, there's some teeth gnashing going on around, the whiskey community on this bottle in particular that, well, they should have never called this King of Kentucky because the King of Kentucky, the big one, is the single barrel, and it comes in a sleeve. And I've been on the lookout for that one for about a year now. I'm kind of a different mind on this one. That's great if you can get that bottle, but I don't think I met a guy yesterday. I take this back, what I was about to say. I met one person yesterday that said he got the bottle at an MSRP. For the most part, I know people that have gotten the bottle, they just had to pay the secondary price for it. And I did a little research on this bottle. They had barrels that were set aside to be King of Kentucky. And when they got into them, there was like less than 11% of distillate was still in the barrel. And they were like, there's no way we can make a single barrel out of this. So let's just go and batch some of these barrels and make a small batch. And yeah, I've had this. a friend of mine, Chuck, he brought this to a bottle share, and we all got to sample it, and I thought it was phenomenal. So anyway, I was pretty stoked about getting that bottle. That was the one I was targeting. Now, once I got through the line the first time, they do 2 tables. There was table 1, which I pulled the King of Kentucky, and table 2, I went and got a Old Forester 100 proof single barrel, which is, I call them the black labeled Old Foresters, and you can't go wrong with them. The more I drink on those, the more I've come to the conclusion I actually think I prefer those over the barrel proof blue labeled ones. So that was the first go round. As soon as I got the stuff into the car, I immediately jumped right back into the line, because at that point, you know, the people who actually stayed there overnight have got their name on the list, and they're all lined up and they're going in the store. And the ABC store doesn't care. They want to get the stuff sold. So I got back in line. My wife and my daughter went through, and this is what they got me. And I had to give them a kind of an itemized list. I knew what was there. So I said, you know what, if you can just go right down the list, and, you know, just pick the first one you see on the table that's on the list. Now, full disclosure on that one, I thought that they was probably going to start at probably Antique 107 by the time they got in store, because, you know, the bottles that were there were some really good ones. Well, lo and behold, my daughter said, Dad, I got you this. You know, I've drank this. I'm going to open it up real quick and try not to get right in front of my face. Yeah, Heaven Hill 90th anniversary. I have actually had this. I got a bottle over there. I've opened it and I've tried it. It is really good. I co-host the channel Oak and Agave. I took it over to Prentice's house. We do kind of a little segment now called Surprise Pours, where I bring something over that Prentice has probably never had, and he tries to figure out what it is before I kind of do the reveal. But I actually took that bottle over there a week ago, and we opened it up, and I was blown away at how good it was. So yeah, shout out to my daughter. Thank you, honey. I really appreciate you doing that for me. Now, my wife, I was blown away she got this bottle. A Michter's 10. There was only 3 of these on the table. And it blows me away to know that my wife was 23rd in the walk up line, which put her, because there was 50 slots for the lottery. I want to say 12 people didn't even show up, which boggles my mind. You get pulled and you don't even show up. Now, but you know what? There's life events. And maybe something happened, and you know, it's none of my business. One way or another, it's just a little surprising to me. But anyway, for my wife to have been, you know, essentially probably the 60th or 70th person to win in that store, and for that bottle to still be sitting there, just amazes me. So thank you, honey. Thank you so much for getting that for me. All right, so I kind of got in the back of the line, and I got a chance to go in the store a second time. And what do I grab the second time? This is what I grabbed. I'm gonna reach over here and try not to come off camera, because I had to stack them kind of deep. Yeah, Antique 107. Now, the cool thing about this Antique 107, this is a ABC store pick. They don't chill filter these. I've actually blinded this one against a regular Antique 107, and Antique 107 on any given day is a good pour. This one is phenomenally better than a normal Antique 107. So that's what I kind of got my second go around at the store. Now, this bottle here, I am notorious for when I go to bottle drops. I'll buy one bottle that's is kind of not necessarily. I'm really trying to struggle on what I'm gonna say about this one, but anyway, it's an impulse buy, and the impulse buy was this bottle, Caribou Crossing. I can't remember my brother for years, but I didn't want this bottle because it's Canadian whiskey. I don't drink Canadian whiskey. And then, you know, I saw it sitting there, and I happened to look down. It had it's actually a barrel pick for the ABC stores. So I went on and got it. I probably won't ever drink it. I believe it's like 80 proof, but I know it's made by Buffalo Trace, and it uses the mash bill for the Blantons. So yeah, I went on and got it. Now, once my daughter and my wife had dropped off what they did, or what they got in the car, they got right back in line again. And in total, I went through the line 3 times, and my wife and daughter went through it twice. So what did they get the second go around? They picked up, my daughter picked up a second Antique 107. I'm setting them on the floor as I'm talking. And my wife picked this up. Cool thing about this one's a store pick too. So yeah, I was kind of pretty stoked to get this one because I've never had a Stag Junior store pick. I've got Stag Junior, I just don't have a store pick. So now, third time. I went right back through a third time. And at that point, the pick, they were getting pretty slim. But, you know, I wasn't the only one. There was you know, you kind of get there and you start talking to people and you kind of, you know, kind of recognize them. And pretty much everybody was getting in line multiple times. But this is what I got the third time. I got another Antique 107. The third time I remember when I went in there, they had probably one more Stag Junior left, and they had an E.H. Taylor rye. But I went on and got another Antique 107 because I've been trying to get one of those for a while. My friend Sean had brought one over one time for me to sample, and I was just absolutely blown away at how good it was. So I can't sit here and complain about the quarterly drop because I mean, by any stretch, any metric, I did phenomenally well. And then, yeah, you know, I'm sure my wallet's not enjoying it as much as I did, but you know, it is what it is. So, I got about 3 bonus bottles I want to talk about real quick. This has been a phenomenally good week for bourbon hunting in general. I'd already mentioned it once. I co-host a channel called Oak and Agave. We got a bottle this week to sample, and it was this. Now, this is the media box it came in, and it's got this sleeve around it, which I'm not going to open the box because this sleeve is impossible to get back on, and I've already tore it a little bit on back. But inside the box, the bottle was in the box, and it also come with kind of, it looked like a little mini poster that you kind of pulled it out, and you know, you read the kind of the information on the bottle. I'm trying to figure out where I put the bottle. Hold on a minute. I'm not sure where I put the bottle now. Oh, there it is. Okay. That's what happens when you get old. You start to misplace stuff. There's the bottle, and you can tell me and Prentice, you know, we enjoyed this bottle when we sampled it for the channel. If you get a chance to get this bottle, this is a distillery exclusive. You got to go to the distillery to get it. I was blown away by this bottle. I never even heard of the wood before. It's a Garyana oak. It's an oak from the Pacific Northwest. You have to get a permit to even harvest it, and my understanding is you can't harvest it until the trees actually fell over naturally. But I got some of the, I mean, I was getting notes of lemon zest, like cooked cherries, stewed peaches, you know, toasted coconut. It is an amazing bottle. And I went into that review saying from the beginning, I'm the biggest fanboy in the world when it comes to Bardstown. So, you know, it's going to be a little hard for me to not like it. But with all that said, I was blown away how good it was. The only thing that I would have followed that bottle on, it didn't have a long Kentucky hug. And, you know, maybe that's because it was 107 proof. So, yeah, I just knocked the bottle over. So, anyway, the other 2 bottles I got this month was this one. I got this one in the mail. This is Appalachian Barrel Company. If you haven't heard of them, they do a phenomenal job. They're NDP, non-distiller producer. They go out and they cherry pick barrels. They don't, I know some people they'll have the distillery send them the samples and they pick what they want. They actually go to the source and then they pick the best of the best. And this one, the mash bill on this one is 75-13-12, which anybody who knows me knows that's no surprise. That's the mash bill for Wild Turkey. And this particular bottle was called Thunder Chicken. And I'm not sure if the camera's going to pick up the tater sticker because it's got a little bit of a shine to it, but it's pretty cool. It's a There's a wild turkey standing in front of like a rick house. You can see the barrels inside the rick house, and there's Easter eggs all around him. So yeah, I've got 2 other bottles from Appalachian Barrel over there. One was one that my local club did, and then the other one's another one of the they call them the CER, and they number them. The CER stands for the Wild Turkey Series. And so anyway, yeah, there's that one. Now I gotta reach a little bit off camera here and get this bottle close. Yep, I knocked it over. Now this one I also got from Appalachian Barrel Company. Yeah, if you know, you know, Brook Hill. And this one in particular is, you know, it's got a tater sticker on it. It's they use this one, the proceeds from the sale of this bottle, they sent some of the money to breast cancer research, and then it's got like, they took a like pink spray can, and they just kind of put a logo on the back of it. But they dropped this bottle, and I had been looking for a Brook Hill for a while. I had a chance last year to get one at the bottle shop drop in Columbus, Georgia, but I was after some other bottles, so I had to pass on it then. But I told myself I kind of do want a Brook Hill at some point. So yeah, I mean, once again, by any stretch of any metric, this week in general has been a really good week to get some bourbon. So, you know, now I've just got to go out there and get some barrels built and some other stuff so I can raise the money to pay this bill. But yeah, I'll enjoy these bottles. And, you know, the memories that I attach to them, the memories for these particular bottles will be me, my wife, and my daughter going down to Dothan, Alabama, and them, you know, caring enough about me that they would, you know, exchange their time, which they could have been doing something they probably wanted to do, to stand in a line that they probably didn't really want to stand in to start with, to get me some bottles. Then I'm sure my wife was like, he does not need these bottles, but she did it because she cares for me. And so that's the memory I'll attach to these bottles, and that's what I'll always think about when I have a pour one of these bottles. So anyway, if you got a bottle that you like, and you got somebody that you care about or you love, then by all means open that bottle and share that, you know, share that bourbon with them and build those memories. And I will see you at the next one.